All right, hey guys, welcome back to the FBA Excel Apex PPC training. In this video, I'm going to quickly cover all of the bulk file advanced filters. There's also some performance settings improvements that you can make to your bulk file depending on how big of the file you have. Up to now, we've covered the onboarding, we've covered your daily bid process sequence that you go through, we've covered some of the bid optimization details. So if you haven't checked those videos out, make sure you check those out to get more information there. All right, so basically when you've done your initialization sequence each time, you're going to be dropped into this view. And from there, you can manipulate this file and do different things with this file that gives you just some good insight very quickly. So first off, show all, that's going to get you back to this default view right away. All targets, if I click that, it's going to basically remove all of the columns that are related to like your campaign, your ad group, and just show me my keywords. And if you can see, like product targets are mixed in there. So ASINs that you're targeting, for example. It's also going to have your automatic targets in there as well. You can see it's still got paused either campaigns, ad groups, or this is the keyword status of each target. So if you want to remove the pause, you can obviously just do it manually by clicking on the filters and deselecting the one you want there. Or you can just quickly come up here and hit all enabled targets, and that'll remove any of the paused or archived targets. So you can just see essentially what your active bids are being triggered. The other filters here, you've got conversions. So if you just want to see targets that have conversions, meaning you haven't made any sales on, you can quickly see that at a glance. If we go back and do percent of sales sort, you'll click that and it's essentially going to sort it by SKU and then look at anything with sales and then sort it in a way that you can see, you know, which target has this percent of sales, which target has the next highest percent of sales, so on and so forth. So what you may want to do is sort it by the percent of sales sort and then go up to this single SKU and then just pick one of the SKUs. So the way Google Sheets filters work is kind of screwy. You got to hit, if you want to do a single selection, you got to hit clear first, then pick the one you want, then hit OK. Okay, and you can see in this case, I've only got one target that's actually making sales, so it's at 100%. Let's see if we can find one that has a distribution. Okay, here we go. So if I select essentially all of these, you can see down here the sum is 100%. So hopefully that makes sense. You've got one that is doing 26% of your sales, and then it distributes down. So that's just at a glance how you can get an idea quickly what is your highest performing targets on the bulk file view. The other thing we went over earlier was quick ways you can do that on the ad insights view, which how you would do that would be go over to units or orders and just look at the picture there, and you can see broken down by match type. And you can see, say I want to look at my highest performing exact target, I can double click on that. And then I'd go over to the orders. Let's see, orders or units. So you can click once. This may be a bigger list on some targets. So you just click that filter button there, and then you can sort Z to A. And there's only one high one there, so 80 units on that. Again, this is default data, which is why it's skewed and really doesn't make sense. But this would be an example of how you could find a really good performing target. Say it's in a multi-keyword campaign, you want to take it over to its own override bid, so you're always bidding high on that target. Copy those two cells like we went over in a previous video, go over to your bid override, paste it here, assign your bid override. You can pull in your metrics at this point, or it'll be pulled in automatically on the next sync sequence. And that's, one operation you can play around with. All right, going back to the bulk file, let's go and look at a few other filters. All right, you've got check for duplicates. Let's go ahead and click that. I think we went over that already, but this is pertaining to keyword cannibalism or bidding on the same keyword in the same match type for the same SKU. So this quickly just takes your bulk file, sorts it by SKU, then looks at anything that you've got the same target in the same match type for that SKU. So anytime in Google Sheets you've got this green bar loading, you'll want to wait till that's completely done before you start clicking around. Google Sheets is cloud-based, so it's also, if you've got a lot of like extensions like you can see I've got up here, you're best to disable those. Your system will run a lot better. And then we'll have another video as well on just really optimizing your bulk sheet, so you can set this whole system up to run incredibly fast. Or if you've got a mega bulk file that's got like 120,000 rows, it's going to be slower for you. So you'll definitely want to check that video out if you're a high volume seller and you've experimented over the years with campaigns and you just got a bunch of campaigns that you're not using. It'll make a world of difference in using this system. All right, so that duplicate feature here, you can see it's going to show me all these SKUs are sorted, by SKU, and then you've got your keyword here. So these are product advertising or product targeting ads here to start with, but you can see I'm targeting the same ASIN in multiple campaigns, and essentially this demo data has some ad groups paused. You typically won't have that. This was just how it imported in, but what you'll have is if you accidentally say you put the same keyword in the same match type, just different campaigns, you'll want to go through and pause one of the keyword status columns. So the quickest way to do that is from this view, go to optimize bids, and actually click adjust in bulk. And then I already covered this, but you can look at the match type here. Like you can see down here, I've got the same keyword in two different exact campaigns. None of them have conversions. This one's got some impressions. So let's say I'd want to pause this one. The column R is what you'd want to pay attention to. And if you can envision just going down through in one bulk run and pausing all of the ones that are performing worse, you can go there, click pause all, then it's just going to pause those. And then the next time you hit that duplicate filter, it won't have those rows in there anymore because you've paused that keyword status. So that's handy. The reset bids, all that's going to do is effectively take, if I make this a little bit smaller, it's effectively going to take this column A in and override your max bid to kind of reset it to the initial state that it was in when you did the initialization sequence here. And that's the only reason there is maybe you run one of the bid optimization algorithms and you messed up and you want to run the other one, you can reset it and then rerun it. The other filters here, we've got review bid changes. If I click that, it's going to filter my list just down to any of the targets that had impacted bid optimization. So if the bid didn't change from the original bid, it won't have those in here, but if it did change, it's going to have those in here. So you can quickly breeze down through and see, which ones were impacted and see if anything looks out of whack and go from there. All right, so that's what that filter looks like. Again, this default data is all screwy, so that's why a lot of the numbers really don't make sense, but you can see all of these original bids are different than the optimized bid. That's the gist of what that one does. Okay, so override campaigns, this one's a little more complex and advanced, but essentially what this does is it's really useful for your bid override table. Any targets that you're using to maybe rank top of search, or you just have some really good high performing ones that you're wanting to pay close attention to. First off, this link here will actually take you to that search term, so you can go ahead and click on that. It's going to open up on Amazon, so you can see if you're bidding high, you should be in one of these top spots is the idea. And say you've got a lot of them, what you can do is if you click and select them, there'll be obviously more of these links show up, and then you can right click and hit open links, or you can hit alt enter. It'll open them all up in separate tabs. That can be handy. But what that filter is usually used for is the daily budget. Say you've got a one you really want to scale, you got a target you really want to scale, you want to make sure that daily budget is high enough. Here I'm only at $5. You don't actually change the budget here, you change it in your bulk file. So that filter, what that does is it looks at this bid override list, then it filters your bulk sheet very quickly for any of these override campaigns. So I click that button and it's just going to give me essentially one campaign here that target is in. All right, so there it finished up, and you can see the way that these bulk sheets work is you've got a campaign column which actually has your campaign budget in there. You can see there's my $5, so maybe I want to move that up to 20. There's where I actually change it. Then you've got some placement rows, and then you got your ad group row. You got an ad row that actually has your SKU information. And then you've got all the keyword and targets that are in that campaign. So that's just a little bit of understanding on how the bulk file is structured. To use this system, honestly, you don't have to really understand much about this view, but it is just good to kind of stare at it a minute and get an understanding of what's going on. Obviously, here are your snapshot based on the bulk file range you set when you downloaded it, all of this, the metrics over that date range. And those are the metrics that are used in conjunction with the bid optimization inputs on your dashboard to calculate your bids. And ultimately, this is the file that is used and manipulated to upload back to Amazon and optimize your bids quickly. So that filter there is used primarily to quickly filter for what's on your bid override list, and usually used to adjust your campaign budget. All right, so other filters we've got are just custom. So this is on a user by user basis. Maybe they want to have a custom filter that they can have one click to see all their automatic campaigns that are converting. You can do things like that. All right, so I think I went over all of those pretty good. The other thing you can do, if I go back to show all right, one of the efficiency improvements that is pretty slick is you can click performance settings and do clean bulk file. And all this is going to do is, you can see here, it's going to remove all paused campaign, ad group, keywords, and placement rows, and also archive rows. That's going to help speed up your entire system. It's recommended if you're getting ready to use the search term inspector, and there's some limits in Google Sheets that you may hit. Again, I've got another video that I'm going to put out that's going to go over how to set up your system and your ad manager for really maximum efficiency. So definitely watch that first, but just know that this clean bulk file feature is here, and you go ahead and hit yes, and you'll see that it's going to reduce my bulk file here quite considerably. It looks like I've got quite a few rows in this one. I don't know, maybe 50,000 or so right now. So we're running it through the clean process at this point. All right, your data's been cleaned. So now if I scroll down, let's see how big my bulk file is. So now I'm down to like 4,000 rows. So it's gonna be way faster now. And it's still got all the key rows in here that I need to optimize and use for all the different tools. You're basically just looking at all your active data. Everything else has been removed. The one critical thing it does remove during that sequence is the placement rows. So I don't have the placement bidding integrated quite yet, but that's going to be the next feature down the road. So that will not be removed in the future as far as running it through that sequence. At any rate, what you can also do at this point, if you want to view your bulk file a little bit better, hit add headers, and that's going to give you a header row here for all of your campaigns, and turn it black so you can just get a better breakdown. You can see some of these have doubled and tripled up. That's because it removed all the targets were paused, so I'm going to make an edit that actually removes those as well, but not a huge deal. So that does that. The other one removes that. You can see high and low means low performance. High performance is removing those headers is going to be quicker. But that is in a nutshell what the filters do here on the bulk file view. If you have any questions, feel free to contact support. And if you have any custom filters that you need made, feel free to reach out as well. See you guys in the next video. Thanks.